Okay, looks like we're recording now. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. First of all, I'm Nathan Gruwell with Real Estate Concierge Auctions. For those of you that have just joined here, I'm speaking with Mark Bisbee, who is the CEO and I guess team leader, Grand Poobah, all those other titles. Plus, I know you also run a real estate team, but you're a CEO of the Keller Williams in Costa Mesa.
Right.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit. I know as a real estate agent, you've also used RECA. You've used the Simon Polito, our chief auctioneer. You've used the auction platform. I'd like to hear a little bit about your experience, your honest thoughts on that. And then also managing a large office. A lot of the agents have used your platform, our platform on that as well. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that as well. So why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about some of your experiences.
Yeah, well, my name is Mark Bisbee. I am the CEO, team leader of Keller Williams Costa Mesa, as you stated. I've been a licensed real estate agent since 2004, and you know I've had really good success using the auction platform with Simon Polito and RECA. I started using it actually on old expireds that were tenant occupied, because the biggest challenge with the tenant occupied property is showing it. And I found that basically by only showing the property 1 hour at a time, twice a week, and using this accelerated sales platform, that I was able to generate interest and offers on a property that was pretty much tough to sell with a tenant in place. And that's how it started. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. I believe Simon and I have worked together approximately 18 times now. We've set a few neighborhood records in luxury markets like Coto de Casa.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that. How did that go?
It was phenomenal, actually. We had the most recent one we did was right when the pandemic hit. I think we had the last legal open house that we could have in the state of California before everything got shut down, and we were able to generate, I believe it was 9 offers. People registered to bid, so we had to do a silent auction at the time because, well, I mean, there was just no provisions to hold a gathering in an auction.
Right.
You know, so we were effectively able to sell a house for 1.717, all cash, close in 2 weeks with no contingencies.
Wow. And if I remember, this was right in the middle of April when everything was shut down, right?
Yeah, we closed first week of April, as a matter of fact. So we were negotiating right during the shutdown. So that's what we had to do. I think we went into escrow like March 19th, something to that effect.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's proven to be successful over time. I had another one that was an expired listing in the city of Upland that expired at 5/49. The seller then turned around and leased it out, making it more difficult to sell. It had $10,000 worth of termite work that needed to be done to it.
Wow.
And we actually sold the house for $565. So we sold it for higher than it expired with a tenant in place and with $10,000 worth of termite work that needed to be done.
Wow, that's incredible.
Strictly by being able to create that environment of buyer frenzies and being able to truly negotiate the best offer for our clients.
Nice. Now, you know, right now, people are asking us, or saying, well, why would I use the auction platform? You know, I don't have a tenant in place. You know, I got a pretty nice, clean property. It's under 750, you know, that are selling before I get the sign in the yard. What would you tell an agent like that? Why would they want to use the auction platform?
Well, there's a few different reasons. One being that you really don't know what the market will pay you unless you really expose it for an extended period of time. In today's market, with prices going crazy, like you alluded to, appraisals are a problem. Well, when we do an auction, we're selling with no contingencies, and so the appraisal really doesn't become a problem. And then the other thing that we have in a hot market too is that buyers kind of get this feeling that they overpaid, you know, and guess what? They use that inspection period as a way to kind of, you know, settle the score, if you will. And so being able to sell it as is with no contingencies is a huge bonus for your seller. And you're actually exposing the property for a proper amount of time.
Okay.
And then the icing on the cake too is that more than 75% of those listings are double-ended.
Right.
So right now, listings are at a premium. So when you get a listing, you want to make sure you capitalize on it to the most of your ability. And so why not double your pay on a listing?
Yeah. Now, I know you double-ended several of your listings out of the 18.
Mm-hmm.
But something else interesting happened. I remember you were sharing with me that not only do you double in most of those under the platform, but you also are picking up additional seller and buyer leads that you otherwise probably wouldn't have picked up off of that. Can you explain a little bit about that if you could?
Correct. So the one we did in March, we were able to do, I believe it was 3 open houses, 3 1-hour open houses. And so in those 3 1-hour open houses, we had 64 buyers come through the property.
Wow.
And I would say out of the 64, about 30 were unrepresented.
So about half. That's
about half of them. And so, I mean, it's really, really rare that you can get the name, phone number, and email address of every prospect you come across. And to get 32 of them in 3 hours of work is and have face-to-face communication rather than just over the phone, it has been vital. And at that price point specifically, at $1.7 million, a lot of those people have listings to sell.
Right. Now I understand you actually picked up about 5 seller leads in the neighborhood just because of that.
Yeah, exactly. So we weren't very popular when we came on the market with a bidding to start from of 1.3. However, when we closed at 1.7, we kind of got back into good graces of the neighbors.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So you catch everybody's attention. The neighbors are like, hey, what's going on? And then at the end of the day, they're like, whoa, this is the highest sale in the neighborhood. And if I correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got it in escrow within like 14 days or something like that. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so they got 5 of these sellers. These people are going to be putting their house on the market, have actually reached out to you, say, hey, I want you to sell my house.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, because what they do is they see you actually working and they see that process working.
Yeah.
And while they may be a little discouraged being the buyer in that situation, seeing all this competition, however, being the seller in the driver's seat, that really intrigues them. And I mean, the first open house we did, we had 34 people 34 groups of people, I should state. And let me tell you something, I, in full disclosure, despised open houses as a real estate agent. I really like doing the auction open houses because they're fun and exciting. You're only there for an hour, and it's like fishing with dynamite.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
You can float up and just scoop them. It's like we're doing net fishing at that point, not sitting on the shoreline with bait. Yeah.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you letting us record this and share this with other people that maybe are on the fence, or they're like, hey, will it work for me?
Yeah.
Real quick, you're managing an office, and I know one of your top agents, Sean Dezod. I know this guy's, I see him selling stuff every week. It looks like he's got another listing. He recently used RECA, and we actually brought him the buyer, and the buyers registered through our advertising, showed up at auction day, and actually won the auction. And Sean got to double in that. Tell us a little bit about that, and what are your thoughts? What do you tell your team? Do you tell them to use the auction, or what do you say?
Yeah, so for Sean, it was a little bit of a unique property. It wasn't something that he was familiar with, and it was a price point that was a little higher than he was accustomed to as well. And so he's a rock star agent. He's our #1 individual agent in our office. I think already this year he's closed over 40 units, and it's September.
Wow. Yeah.
And so for him, he decided that he was going to employ RECA, and the team supported him all through it. He asked me a million questions throughout the process, but I was there for him. This guy shows up on auction day and says, hey, I'm here. They send him to go get a cashier's check, comes back, and he ends up being the buyer. Wow. And it just closed, I believe, on Monday. So yeah, we're extremely proud of him. I really like the platform, especially with the support that comes with it. because most of our newer agents specifically, and even some of our seasoned agents, they don't really have a marketing plan or a process. And so if they don't have a plan or a process, I just go use RECA. They have the plan, they have the process, they have the track record, right? They'll go on the listing appointment with you. So, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's huge. So especially a new agent that maybe hasn't perfected their listing presentation.
Or been on one yet, for that matter.
Or been on one yet. Simon Polito will go and present the auction platform, make the agent look like a rock star. And I know one of the things he does at the end of the day, even if the seller doesn't feel comfortable doing auctions, we still get the contract signed that are traditional with that agent, because we want that agent to get that contract signed no matter what. So, and just a little sidebar on Sean Dazad, that listing, it was a $1.1 million listing, no contingencies, and he double-ended it. And first time he met his buyer was on the auction day. So,
and to another value add there too is when the biggest reason why sellers don't want to pay a commission is because they don't see value in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you show up, I have a team of 2 other agents with me, and then I bring in the RECA team of 5 or 6. Now the seller can start seeing, like, you're not just hiring one agent. You're putting 8 to 10 of us to work for you right now. And so, our commission objections are a lot less, just because, they actually see the value in the team and that component. That's number one. And number two, the reason why their success is it's a proactive marketing plan. And so when you're doing that and you're constant communication with your sellers, they realize that you as the agent and the RECA team are doing everything humanly possible to sell the house for them. Yeah. And that's where they really kind of they get educated on the market. So it's a great plan. It's actually funny. I used a lot of this stuff on my own traditional sales before I even started working in the auction arena, but it just, the results are just amplified from there. Yeah. And being able to call an expired and say, hey, listen, I got a way to sell your house in 28 days or less, as is, no contingencies. I'm going to create multiple offers. And here's the best part. I'm only going to bug you for 1 hour twice a week. Will you give me 15 minutes to show you how that works?
Beautiful. Man, you couldn't have said it better. And, we're experiencing that a lot with agents saying, especially expireds or FSBOs, well, what are you going to do different? All you agents are alike. And then you show up with this plan. They're like, whoa, never heard about this. This sounds pretty good. So, Mark, I know you got to run to some other appointments. I really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure.
Can anybody, if we have some agents that maybe want to reach out to you and want to learn more about the auction or your personal experience, can they contact you?
Absolutely. My number is 714-469-2553. That's 714-469-2553. Reach out anytime, call or text.
I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you so much. We're going to end the recording now, let you get on with your day. And good seeing you as always. Thank you so much, Mark.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.